Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. First stream in many weeks, so I'm very excited to be back to the live streaming. And we have a very special guest. The one and only Cody has come to join us for some sprints. Cody, do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am Cody, known on the YouTube as Cody the Writer. And I am in the process of redrafting my debut mystery thriller novel. And I'm hoping to have it published by mid 2025. And yeah, I share videos and vlogs of my journey on my channel here on YouTube. And yeah, that's me.
Wow, that was so eloquent. Loved it.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Fun to have
Normally,
another.
I'm the one hosting, so like I'm not used to having to introduce myself.
Yeah. Fun to have another aspiring self-published writer. That's exciting.
Yes.
We love it. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hi, Ian. We have Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa. Welcome.
She's one of the people that I'm actually doing that critique partner thing with that I was telling you about.
That's
So
exciting.
yeah.
Hi, Adam. Welcome. Anna, LDJ. Hey, thanks for coming. The new setup, yes, it's a little bit far, but with the new apartment, it's just kind of how it has to be. So, but I mean, it's kind of a vibe. Hi, Anna. Okay, people are liking the desk. That's great to hear. Hi, Casey. So excited to have you all here. Yes, and for anyone who's coming from Cody's channel who doesn't know me, hello, I'm Brielle, and I'm working on my second draft of a new adult fantasy that I'm also hoping to self-publish in 2025. So, sort of similar timeline going on. And I haven't written in a very long time consistently, so we're just getting back into it today.
Right. Should we
Yeah,
do like a joint release party when our books come out?
that would be so fun.
Like a whole like we could host a live and be like, all right, everyone, let's count down until the release of our books.
That'd be so fun.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know what mental state I'm gonna be in on the day that this book is actually going to be released to the world.
No, me neither. I almost feel like I need to like not be on the internet.
Yeah, probably that would yeah. As soon as I said it, I was like, maybe not the best idea.
Maybe a little pre-release or post-release live stream could be. Could
Yeah.
be. Hi Meg, good to see you. Oh my god, great turnout. Hello everyone, very exciting. Alyssa would attend our joint party, so that's all we need, really.
That's all we need.
Mm-hmm. Oh, bit of an exciting update. I sent my first 5 chapters to someone, which was big because no one else has read any of the book yet. So that was exciting. I
That's
got
so
them
exciting.
in a decent enough place to share, and it actually went to Andy, which you guys may know. So yeah, we did a little swap, which is fun, and I get to read the first 5 chapters of her project. So it's a fun little update.
When did y'all do the swap?
Like a few days ago, and
Okay. So y'all
yeah.
haven't like gotten any like feedback to each other yet?
Oh, we have actually. She
Oh,
already read it all, and I read about half of hers so far.
nice.
Yeah, since it's like a bit of a shorter chunk, it's more
Yeah.
doable. Hi, Emma. Everyone should buy each other's books and flood the reviews.
Agreed.
Yes, yeah.
Agreed.
The reviews is going to be scary. How do you feel like about experiencing that for the first time? Like, are you nervous, excited? Like, what are the emotions?
So I feel like me going ahead and putting myself out there on the internet is sort of preparing me
Mhm.
for like, not nice comments and things like that. Cause I have gotten a few since I've been on the YouTube. And so it's fine. And I feel like this is just like the warm up to that. But also, I watch a lot of people that do like self publishing and stuff. And they all seem to have like the same opinion that reviews are for the reader, not for the author. And so most likely I just won't be looking at my reviews because they're not for me. They're for other people that might be interested in my book. So that's kind of the mindset that I'm going into reviews on the book.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, and I totally agree. I've seen some self-published writers say that they have, like, a friend comb through the reviews, and anything that they think they'll want to see, they'll send them, or, like, if there's a really good constructive, like, critique, okay, I'll send that to you, whatever. So that way you don't have to, like, see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Someone else can kinda like, "Hey, like, this one's good to look at," or, like, "A lot of people
Yeah.
this," like, I feel like that could be valuable. So, like, trends in the reviews, but not
Yeah.
the nitty.
I could definitely send someone else to the review world. I wouldn't wanna see, because I know that already my book is not gonna be for everybody, and that's okay. And so there's gonna be some low reviews, I'm sure, just like every other book that I've loved that has like a one-star review. It happens. It's not any indication of my art. It just means that my art was not for them, you know?
Absolutely. I love that, yeah. I feel like accepting that people will hate it is, like,
Yeah.
I try to work on, like, I try to continuously remind myself, like, "Hey, there's gonna be people that do dislike this," like,
Yeah.
gotta prepare yourself, you
And
know?
that's okay. That
Mhm.
is okay.
Don't worry, I'll just host a live where I just screen record myself buying and reviewing your books on release day. I love that.
That's great. Would tune in.
Oh, me too. I
Oh,
would be
and reading them. Oh, it's gonna be like a live reading with Alyssa and the books. We love that.
we're reading aloud both of our novels.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
But
I think I would be so, tripped out if someone did a reading vlog reading my
of
book.
reading my, yeah. I am I hope that it happens, but also when it actually does happen, I'm gonna be like, "Wait, this is weird."
Right,
'Cause
right, right.
there's been a few times, like, where I've kinda had that with a YouTube video where someone will, like, be doing a vlog and I'll see myself on their TV and I'm like, "Whoa." That's my head is too big to be on a screen that big,
Yeah,
okay? So, like, what are you doing?
I feel
But
that.
it's fine.
It's always a bit of a shock.
It is. But it's cool though, because it's like, "Oh, someone else is watching my content."
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Well, fun little chat. Shall we get into sprint number 1?
Yeah, I am down.
Amazing. Good
Are
luck,
you on
everyone.
any specific chapter that you're working on?
I have no idea what chapter I'm just gonna open up the open up the document and see what happens, because technically I should be on chapter 12, but a lot needs to be fixed. So I'm kind of avoiding it by reworking earlier chapters. So we'll see.
Heard. Alright,
Yeah.
well, best of luck to all the peoples that are here.
Yes. Good luck, everyone. And we'll talk in 25 minutes. Well, that terrified me.
Right.
How was your sprint?
I think it went well. I got about 400 words, so that's a
Nice.
sleigh.
That's a very productive 25 minutes.
Yeah, Miss
Nice.
Honey came to bother me because she always waits until I start streaming to be like, "Hey, yo, I need to go outside." So part of the stream was me taking care of her as well, but she's all good now. She's napping next to me.
Cute. I also had somewhat productive. I ended up working on chapter 6, so I guess I'm just Wait, so cute.
She's living her best life.
I love that. Oh my god, obsessed. Yeah, ended up working on chapter 6, so I guess I'm just kind of going from the beginning again, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, I added some words and I broke 81K, so that's exciting.
Nice. What is your goal with this redraft process? Obviously to edit the things that you found, but do you want to like add more words, take away words? Like what's your overall goal?
I definitely want to add words overall. So anytime the word count is going up, I'm counting it as a win.
Mhm.
I think draft 1 ended at 74K something. So already added 7,000 words, which is pretty good because I've only done act 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So the goal would be, I would say, to get it above 90, honestly. Closer to 100 would be great. So
Yeah. Especially because with fantasy, that's kind of the norm is close around that 100K-ish range.
absolutely. How about you? What is your, I assume you're adding a lot of stuff, so you're hoping it gets longer?
Yes. So I had two goals with this. One, I the reason I'm doing a full redraft is because I decided to change the POV that I'm writing from. Because I did the first draft in sort of like a third person omniscient situation.
Mhm.
And I feel like I didn't realize why I was doing it at the time, but because this was the first full manuscript that I've ever completed, I did it that way so that I myself knew what every single character was doing at all times. And now that I know that, I'm switching to my actual main character's POV for the book. And now that he's going through all of these things, I know where all the other characters are, what they're doing. If they said they'd be somewhere, I know if they were telling the truth or if they lied about that.
I
So it was definitely helpful. And then I'm also trying to beef up the word count. My first draft was like right at 51,000, I believe. And currently I am standing at almost 53,000, but I still have 7 chapters to write. So it's going to be closer to that 70K, which is kind of the goal for me with this one.
nice. And remind me what the genre is, both in terms of,
Mystery thriller.
and then like age range, like is it
It's
YA,
adult.
adult? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess it could technically be new adult because it's college aged people,
Yeah.
but it definitely deals with a lot of heavy adult themes. So, it's kind of, I don't know, somewhere in the limbo, but for sure it's psychological thriller following main character Logan. And it's a lot of fun.
Nice. I'm sure, yeah, the third person thing is nice because you almost have like stage directions for all your characters.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
that's
pretty
nice.
much what it was. It was just like a really, really long outline.
I love that. Okay, let me run to the chat really quick. Oh my god, that's funny. Alyssa and Becca ended up snacking on some Dominoes. Love that.
Oh, love Dominoes.
I just wrote a heartwarming scene between two of my characters and finally moved forward with the story after a few weeks. Very nice. Congrats. 880 words of my main character doing impromptu parkour, really trying to get the tension right. I love that.
That's a lot of words. Wow, good job.
Yeah, and on parkour too. That I feel
Like,
like
I see The Office in my head when they're like, parkour, parkour, and they're just jumping off of random stuff.
that's funny. I feel like writing action is usually slow for me, so that's very impressive that you got that many words in an action scene.
Right? That's so cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The scene that I'm currently writing, my main character is stuck in a car with it's just him and this other girl who is kind of like how do I say this nicely? Am I allowed to cuss on your channel?
Yes.
She's a bitch. She's like the bitch of the story. Like she's so not nice. She has like always seems like she has better places to be. But they're doing a certain thing right now that one of the group is inside of the police station trying to get more information. And the two of them are like doing a stakeout in the car. And so my main character is just like stuck in the car with her. And it is so uncomfortable and funny to write from his point of view because he's like I think there was a sentence where yeah, I tried to start a light conversation in an attempt to get to know her outside of being a not nice person. Like I put that pause in there. Like he wanted to say the B word so bad, but
Wait, that's funny. I
he's
love
not that kind of person. He doesn't really cuss a lot,
that.
which is funny because it's the opposite of me.
That's funny. I feel like stakeout dialogue is always fun. Like there's
Yeah.
always banter going on.
Yeah.
Okay. I would love to open the chat to questions. If anyone has any questions they would like for me and Cody to answer.
Ooh, and while you're waiting on those, Becca was asking how the move went.
Oh yes. Thank you for reminding me that. Yeah. So it was very chaotic, very stressful, but I am loving Seattle so far, which is exciting. And I'm loving our apartment. Got a cute little bookcase set up. So things are really looking up. It's like a cute area. There's like a park. So very excited, but it was a bit hellish to get here. I'm not going to lie. We drove from LA. So it was.
Gosh, how many hours is that?
Altogether like 18, 20. I don't know.
Ooh.
Never
Gosh.
again.
That is crazy.
Yeah, with the truck because we moved all of our own stuff. So it was kind of the worst. I don't think I'll ever do that again. But yeah, I'm glad that everyone is commiserating about moving.
Yes. See, I hate moving, but I love making a new space feel like home. Like I enjoy that part of it and the adventure of being in a new city and things like that. Like there's so much good, but it's just the getting there that is the worst part
Oh,
ever.
I totally agree. Like the fresh start is very exciting. Like I love a new space, a new apartment. Like that's so fun. And I honestly love touring apartments too. That's like a hobby. Like I'll do that for but the actual like packing and stuff was definitely
Yes, that's the worst. And I did see you have a vlog coming up where you're trying like new coffee shops in Seattle, so that's going to be so fun to watch.
Yeah,
I love a new coffee shop. It's like one of the first places that I look for whenever I go to a new city. I just want to find like where's the cool coffee shop that's like not a Starbucks because those are all the same. I want like your weird little fairy corner that has like plants and cool vibes. That's what I want when I go to a new city.
I totally feel. Literally, when we were looking for apartments, everywhere we toured, I was like, "So, where's the nearest coffee shop? Like, is there is there one nearby?" Like, it was a criteria. So,
yeah. I'm really excited. Just one street over from where I live, someone took one of the houses and it's like, I think 2 or 3 stories, and they are completely renovating it into like a coffee shop, like situation. And I'm so excited for it to open because it's literally like right behind my house, which is like walking distance. So I'm very excited for that to open.
Yeah, the walking distance ones are always the best because it just makes it so much easier, convenient.
Get a little fresh air in between.
Hi, Becca. Okay, so Brielle, this is the first time I'm hopping onto one of your streams. What inspired you to write your story, write in general? How do you envision your writing career? Ooh, fun. Okay, so writing in general. So I used to write like as a kid, obviously, and in middle school and high school. Took a break for several years and then just got back to it, honestly, because I was watching AuthorTube before I was even writing again. And I was like, wait, this looks kind of fun. Like, I want to write. So that's what actually got me back into it. And then this story, honestly, I can never trace where my stories come from. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but like, there was no defining moment or like specific inspiration. It always just kind of pops into my head, or at least the seed of it. So that's where this story idea came from. And then in terms of writing career, so like Cody, I also want to self-publish. So that is my like writing career goal is to self-publish multiple books, mostly in fantasy and maybe some romance as well. Um, so that's my thoughts. Do
Just
you want
curious, what was the first thing that came to you in this story? Was it a character? Was it a scene? And then did you just like build the rest of the story around that thing?
I think it was the first scene actually, which I think is a bit unusual for me. I feel
Yeah.
like normally it's more so like a plot or like a world vision,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was just the opening scene and like the opening line. And I think it all kind of evolved from there.
I love that.
Yeah. How about you? What was the seed of your current book idea?
So a good friend of mine, her name is Brittany, and she we went to high school together and we graduated together. And so what we would do is like whenever we were in college, every summer, me, her, and her brother Nick, we were all good friends, and so we would all kind of like go in to their house and have like these like nights where we just literally stay up all night working on whatever project we want to. So Nick, he liked to like build video games and like create the art and do like platformer stuff. Like couldn't be me. It's great, but the kind of stuff he can do. Brittany would like to like draw and I would usually write. And I was talking to Brittany because she was wanting to kind of like collaborate on like a story where I would write the story and she would like animate it, like draw it into
Oh,
like
that's
comic
cool.
strip form. And I was like, oh, absolutely. And so I, came up with a couple ideas. And then I was like, what do you feel about like, like how dark are you wanting to go? Because like obviously I write thrillers. It's real dark up there. And so I was like, how do you feel about I have this idea for like a club that's kind of like of these rogue writers and they kind of get a little in over their head and this person starts going after them. And because I was like, that'd be fun to put into like a cartoon form. Like you could make that really animated. And then she ended up doing something else. I think it's an Undertale story that is creating. It's called The First Human. She has a YouTube channel, Brit Ninja, and she decided to work on that. So I took that idea for me and turned it into the Ghostwriters Club. And the first thing that I knew about the story was the finale. That's the first thing that came to me was that scene.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I just kind of literally plotted it backwards
Wait,
to find the starting point.
that's so interesting. I feel like to me, that's even crazier than thinking of the first scene first, because I
Yeah.
feel like every story I write, I don't quite know how it's going to end for a while.
Yeah. Well, I found for most of the thrillers that, well, I say most of the thrillers I've written, this is the only one that I've fully written. But I wanted to, I guess the finale came to me first because that's kind of where the twist is. And
Yeah.
especially for thrillers, I have to know the twist before I start because if someone's doing something, I need to know why they did it. Like, why are they doing this? How did they pull this off? And so I kind of have to start with the twist and then work backwards from there to know the best starting point, if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. Yeah, I feel like that might be a genre specific thing. Like you really do need to have
Yeah.
your shit together to write a thriller. I'm always
Yeah.
very impressed by mystery and thriller writers. I don't know if I would have it in me, but
It's tough. But I will say the thing that for the next book that I plan to write, that I plan to start plotting in October, the first scene is what came to mind for that, which is funny, but also like it connects to the final scene. I don't know. I'll have to talk about it whenever we're in and not streaming to the world because I don't want anyone to steal my ideas.
yes, that'll have to be a sidebar for sure.
Yeah.
I'm starting my own AuthorTube channel in a week or two. Any starting tips or advice? Cody, you want to go first?
Sure. I actually just posted a video on my YouTube channel last week, talking about starting a YouTube channel and how YouTube has changed my life in the last 6 months. But I would say my number one tip is to just start. because as you continue to record, edit, make vlogs, I mean, obviously you have experience with that. You said you already have a channel. So, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And yeah, just be yourself and your people will find you. That's kind of how it happened for me. I just turned on a camera and was like, "Hey, what's up?" And people started finding me. So that's my best advice.
I love that. Yes, definitely go check out Cody's video. I also did a video of like how to start an AuthorTube channel that I would plug for you to check out. But I agree, like starting is the biggest hurdle, and 70% of people get stuck there, probably more. Like most people never actually post that first video. So plunge yourself
Mhm.
in. Like he said, you'll learn as you grow. You'll learn as you go.
No, I
And
like that. You'll learn as you grow. I like that.
there you go. That too. Um,
Yeah, wisdom.
but I agree. If you're like authentic and you're genuinely sharing your thoughts throughout the process and each stage of it in all of its realities and struggles, like people will gravitate towards that and relate to you. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I also feel like we are in an era of like people wanting to follow like normal people on like social media and things like that. Like the number one person that comes to mind is like Brittany Broski, just a
Mhm.
normal girl. You see it all from like her being manic in her bed at 3 in the morning to having tummy troubles. Like it's all like relatable content because she's just a normal person. My dog is attacking me with love. And like I feel like that is kind of like the era we're on, is
Mhm.
anyone can be a content creator these days because people just want to see authentic life and follow along with people that they like.
I totally agree. And I think AuthorTube is a really great space for that as well. Like, I've found that it's such a vibrant community, and there's so many people that are looking for more videos to watch. Like, I know I'm always like in search of more AuthorTube to watch because it's not that big of a space in terms of the number of creators.
Yeah.
So there's definitely room for you, and take that as like some comfort.
And
Uh,
everyone that I've met, I've heard like, because I've followed a lot of people and I heard horror stories about like the author tube space and how
mm,
it's kind of full of negativity, but I have encountered none of that since I have been on AuthorTube. Everyone that I've met has been lovely and amazing, and I'm very thankful that I did it because I met cool people like Brielle and a
Wait,
lot of these friends in the chat.
that's so interesting that you heard it was a negative space. That's like tea.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say that before. Hmm.
Yeah. They would just be like, like they would never say names, but they would just allude to that there were just some not nice people a part of the community. And maybe they've up and left since that whole thing happened because I haven't encountered anything like that. So,
Yeah. I do also feel like there's been a new wave of creators that all came in at a similar time. Like I feel like we're like a class of
the next
students.
generation.
Yeah. We're like the next graduating class or something that I can like identify, and everyone in that group has been so like sweet and supportive of each other, I feel like. So that's
Agreed.
fun. Mhm. A renaissance this year. I agree. I started my channel the year before and it was a wasteland until the fall.
Oh
Uh,
no. Well, I'm
that's
so
sad.
glad we could come and heal the land, heal the
Yeah,
wasteland.
it's great to hear.
Because there's
Well,
been
this
so many great people that started recently. Like I know, I mean, and like from the video that I did post about AuthorTube stuff, it's like all these new people are wanting to start channels, and I've checked out a few of them, and they all just seem so nice. And I'm just like, this is, and also I think Alyssa talked about this too, is there's like a renaissance of like live streams because apparently they kind of
Mhm.
went away for a little while of like live writing sprints. Um, but they are back and better than ever because I do them. I know Becca does them. Alyssa does them in the morning. You do them. Who else? Mick, like LDJ writes. Like everyone's doing live streams again.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's so good. I love it.
No, I love it too. I noticed the same thing because a lot of the author creators I watched that have been around, like their last stream was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I was like, where did this go? Like, why did it die?
Yeah,
So I'm happy that it's coming back.
and streaming is my favorite because I get to like interact with people live, like on the
Mhm.
spot. Like we're all sitting here together right now and just vibing.
That's so true. Yeah, I love that. There's another question that I'm really intrigued by, but I'm constantly looking at the recently uploaded page because I need new AuthorTube videos. Same. So there's no shortage of viewers for it. I feel like content went from authenticity to people creating false authenticity to be relatable, and now there's a pull for actual authenticity. Agreed.
Love
Agreed.
that.
Like
yeah, that's what I love, authenticity. Just like I want to hear it all. Like I want to pretend like I'm like besties with you and like, girl, this story's not doing what I'm telling it to do. It's acting up right now, and we're just going to talk about it.
Yep, absolutely. That's like one of my favorite things about your videos too, Cody, is like every time I open one of your videos, it's just like the pure FaceTime energy of it all, like the warmth, the like.
Hey.
Amazing.
Yes.
How do you come up with a unique voice for each character? This one's very interesting.
I have a fun method. So what I do is I imagine the character as someone that I know in my real life that I kind of want them to reflect. So we all have some Annas in our life. Anna's my, not nice person. And so like I just kind of like based her off of someone that is just not a nice person that I've met. And obviously there's different names. But that's kind of how I do the voice, is I imagine them as that person and what would they say. And that's kind of how I come up with different voices for each person.
Nice. I would say my voice differentiation comes a lot from my character's flaws. Like their flaws inform so much of like how they react to things and like how they approach relationships. So I feel like having a really solid idea of what each character's biggest flaw or biggest area to improve is what really helps give texture to my characters personally. So that might be something to explore if your characters are all sounding the same.
And I've seen you do it in your vlogs. You actually make like pictures of each of your characters, so that way you can like look at them and imagine what they would say. I did that. I didn't like print them out, but I had like a digital version of that where I kind of gave each of them like a face that I imagine they look like in my head, and that also helped with kind of finding their voice.
Oh, that helps so much with dialogue. Like,
yes,
literally, some people have the gift of being able to just visualize their characters, and I love that for them. I could not do that. Like, I could not picture them at all. But looking at those pictures over and over and over again, now I'm starting to see in my head scenes actually play out, and I can visualize it. But it took like a repeated exposure to like, that's their face. Okay, let's get to know it. Like,
yes.
So I agree. Super helpful. There used to be creators that would review AuthorTubers novels to diminish their credibility. Oh, I hate that. Okay, we're getting the tea on the old authors.
That is tea.
Wow. Yeah, people remember that. That's crazy. I guess I was not around for this.
I think I was watching AuthorTube at the time when all the drama was going on, but I wasn't a part of the community yet at that time. But again, no one ever said names because I was like, say their name, sis. Like I want to know the tea, but I guess they were being respectful or whatever. I'm just nosy.
Yeah, I would also be curious to know. If anyone wants to message me privately and let me.
Right.
I'm interested in starting an AuthorTube channel, but I get so burnt out by consuming and creating videos content, so I'm not sure if it's the best move for me. Any tips or advice, things to consider? What are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, and I've kind of been through this since I started because it feels like there are always like new trendy videos that you kind of have to hop on really quick before the trend is over or whatever. And to me, it's your channel. If you want to just post once a month, then set that expectation from the beginning so that you don't get burnt out, or like once every other week. You don't have to be posting 2 to 3 videos every single week and burning yourself out. As long as you kind of set that expectation with your audience early and you set a schedule that's doable for you and your mental health, then I say that's totally fine. I post once a week, and sometimes I do a live stream on top of that. But for the most part, if I'm having a week where I'm just feeling burnt out, I'll just make a little post. It's like, hey, no new video this week. I got you next week, and it's fine. Your people will be there whenever you decide to post another video.
That's great advice. I also would say maybe think about what your reasons are, because there's a lot of different reasons to start, right? Like,
Hmm.
is it that you want to grow? Is it that you want community? Is it just that you want to document pieces of your process? Because if you just want to do it for you or to share like what you're working on, then the consistency really doesn't matter. If you're hoping to really grow it, then maybe it does more so. So maybe just ask yourself, like, what are my reasons for wanting to start this? Could I still get the fulfillment just from posting occasionally, or, however often I'm
Yeah.
able to? Because I think it depends on what your goals are. To be totally transparent, I do think consistency is very helpful for growing a channel, like getting people invested and just from an analytics perspective. So want to mention that, but if that's not your primary goal, then it doesn't matter,
Yeah, because your growth will happen at or the same rate that you post. And so the
Mhm.
more you post, then your rate of growth will end up being a little faster. If you don't care about that, you just do you. Like for me, the whole reason I started my channel was to have writer friends because I don't have any IRL writer friends.
Mhm.
And now that I've done that, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because that's really that was the whole goal of this was to,
Yeah.
well, also to finish my book. That's another
Right.
big goal.
Yeah, the accountability is also a huge reason people start. And
Yes.
yeah, it's a big pro, I'm not gonna lie.
It helped me immensely. I probably would not have finished my first full draft had it not been for all of you lovely people being like, "Yo, where's the update?"
Nope, same. I don't think I would have finished this book either. Very helpful. Um,
Yes.
Also, this is so funny. I literally do not know my main character's hair color. That's wild.
That is wild. I know all of my people's hair color. I don't necessarily mention it, but, like, I know it, I guess.
It's it's very interesting the, like, mixed opinions, people have on how much you should physically describe your characters. I've heard, like, such drastically different thoughts. Like, some people are like, "Physical description,
Yeah.
unimportant, don't even wanna mention it." I personally find it glaring when it's missing,
Yeah.
like, entirely not there. What do you think?
My rule of thumb is to, I when I introduce a new character, I like to sort of give their generic characteristics, but I always end it with one thing that kind of makes them stand out. And
Yes.
it involves one of the senses. So like Julia, she always wears like floral like sundresses. Then we have Claire, she always smells like coconut.
Mhm.
So like these small little things that I can add to just kind of be like, what is the one thing about this character that stands out that makes them, I guess, different from everyone else? Like Jackson is the douchey football bro, but also he's like, really smart and he, has a lot of self doubt, I guess, but that's trauma from his parents, but we don't got to get into all that. Like Logan, he always wears this like blue zip up jacket that belonged to his father before he passed. And he always, when he's anxious, he plays with the sleeve and it's like frayed from all the times that he's played with it. So like, I always try to pinpoint one little thing about them that kind of speaks more to who they are, I guess. But I
Yes,
do agree, physical like descriptions should be there in some capacity.
I totally agree. Almost like a trademark, like, if you can give them one
Yeah.
thing will latch on to,
Yeah.
uh, identifies them. Yeah, I like that a lot. Especially I think clothing items is a bit underutilized. Like, I love when someone has, like, a go-to shirt or just, like,
Mhm.
a little maybe an accessory that they play with. Like, I feel like that
Yeah.
adds so much life
And it
to it.
also shows like how, that they might be slightly an anxious person if they've worn a fray into their jacket by playing with it when they get anxious. So it's just these little details that can say a lot more than just a physical description about a character. And I like that.
Yes, I like that too. Okay, maybe we'll do one more because I like this one, and then maybe we'll cut it out. Although there's so many other good questions, but let's Let's do this one. What are some of the steps you both take when you go from draft 1 to draft 2? I'm about 5K words off the end of this novel, and I'm like, ah. Great question.
In the words of Meredith E. Phillips, I just sort of flail through the drafts. My process, this was my first time going through this process, going from draft 1 to draft 2. And so the way that I went about it was the first thing I did was a full read through, and I highlighted everything, whether it be a story issue, a character issue, inconsistency. That was the first thing that I did. And once I knew all of that, I was like, okay, now that I know what I want to fix, what is my big goal with this next draft? And so my big goal was to beef up word count and change POV. Changing POV is kind of one of those things that's going to happen as I write it, but the biggest goal is word count. So I feel like as long as you know what needs to be fixed, and then you have sort of like a end goal, whether it be to beef up word count, lower word count, it's different for everybody. I'm an underwriter.
Same.
And so, everyone's process from draft 1 to draft 2 looks different. So it's just going to be a matter of what you feel needs to be fixed and then setting goals from there.
Mm-hmm. I love that idea of having like a one solid goal or aim with the draft. Like, I feel like that's almost what I didn't do that I wish I had done, is set like a clear objective, because otherwise you end up feeling like you have to literally fix everything and bring it to its final form, which is a lot.
Yes. Draft 2 is not final form, so you don't have to stress.
Yeah. Definitely remind yourself that, because I feel like that's important for getting through it. But I had a very similar process. I also did the read through, the highlighting, the notes, which I think it was like necessary. Like, I don't think I could have jumped into draft 2 not having done that. And then I'm sort of going chronologically, also trying to beef up word count. And I did quite a lot of world building and timelines and things as well before draft 2, but that's because I'm not a super diehard plotter. So a lot of that work hadn't been done yet. So yeah, I ended up doing a lot of documents, brainstorming, like timelines of the book, timelines of the history, all sorts of materials, just so I could go into draft 2 more educated, and I could spot the flaws with a lot more clarity, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was part of my process as well.
And sometimes you got to go back to that outline. Once you actually have the first draft that you have actually written, because for me, I discovered things as I was writing. So my outline changed from what it started as to the end. And so once I did my read through, I updated my outline with all of the things that I actually wrote. And then that also helped me point out like any glaring issues in like the plot kind of getting lost, or, maybe we shouldn't do this, we should do this instead.
Mm-hmm.
That also was very helpful.
Yeah. And I feel like that can help you identify missing like scenes, missing chapters, like places where there's gaps of like, oh, why are we jumping from this to this? Like, maybe I need a scene there, a chapter there. If you look at it from more of a bird's eye view, that can help you find maybe extra things you can add. Or
yes, when I came back to writing this, that's why I posted my book blurb video on my YouTube channel. Was I had been away from my story for a little while, and I wanted to kind of have that bird's eye view. And so write your book blurb and see what that, might spark. And because obviously you're going to have to whittle through a lot of stuff to find the most important bits of your story. And once you kind of nail those down and you have that, then that could also help you navigate through this next draft. That definitely helped me for sure. Once I knew the big overarching story, then I was like, all right, I got it.
That's so smart. And then you can also be like aware of what expectations you're setting up with the reader, as well as like maybe what they're there for. Like, so you don't get lost in the parts of the story that aren't as important. That's so smart. Yeah.
And you can reference back to those expectations so that you know what you should be delivering while you're working on the new draft.
Absolutely. So smart. Great answer.
Big brain.
I'll let you read her.
Working on a new mystery thriller and thinking about self-publishing, but I feel like thrillers aren't the type of book to do well in the indie market. I don't agree necessarily with that. I mean, one of my favorite authors, Frida McFadden, she's started off indie publishing, and now she is like one of the #1 thriller writers right now. Like she's been #1 on Goodreads and Amazon. So I definitely think that there's a market for it. I don't have too much experience with like the numbers of selling as a self-published author in the thriller genre, because I haven't done it yet. But that would definitely be interesting for me to kind of keep an eye on as I move into the self-publishing, just to see how marketable it is. But you know, I don't really know. I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of thoughts because I haven't really experienced it yet, I guess.
I feel like it's a
But I've
great
seen
time.
people do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's a great time to indie publish. Like so many books as well have hit the mainstream that were indie. Powerless, prime
Yeah.
example, originally indie published. And also I feel like most people now get their book recommendations from other people, from things they see online. So
Yeah.
you're not really relying on them seeing your book in like a traditional sphere, like a bookstore. So I feel like
Yeah.
if you get enough momentum and enough buzz, like there's no reason why a thriller couldn't do well in the indie sphere.
Yeah, and I feel like really whether you're self-publishing or traditionally publishing, it all comes down to how well you market the book.
Mhm.
As long as you are, you have a solid marketing strategy and you're doing what you need to get your book in front of people, whether it be on Facebook, Amazon, Instagram, TikTok, whatever,
Yes.
then that is going to be the big determiner of whether or not you sell, no matter what genre you're in, and also no matter whether you traditionally publish or self-publish. Because I've heard from people that I follow that are traditionally published that they still have to do their own marketing for the book to sell.
Absolutely.
So, like Lindsay Puckett, she talks a lot about all the marketing that she does, even though she is represented by a traditionally published, like an editor and all that stuff, an agent. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like it all comes down to your marketing.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, I mean, I feel like I see sometimes like rhetoric online of like people assuming that just because they publish a book, it'll gain momentum on its own. And it's like, no, no one will know about it unless you talk. Like someone's got to start talking about it. Because
Exactly.
posting it on Amazon is not going to drive traffic. So I agree that it's all about the marketing. And
And
this is
since you're starting an AuthorTube channel, then that's a great way to market your book one day. So,
that is a huge pro. Yup. And
like,
to answer this, because she said since thrillers read so fast, most people wouldn't buy them. I've noticed a lot of people read thrillers on Kindle Unlimited. Kindle
yeah,
Unlimited is like game changer for indie authors. Obviously, if you want to be in Kindle Unlimited, because people don't have to invest, so they're more
yeah.
likely to book a chance, but you're still getting a royalty. So
I will most likely be using Kindle Unlimited along with like KDP, Amazon, whatever,
same.
um, for especially for ebook, and then paperback. I'm probably going to do like a wide distribution. I've heard Ingram Spark gives the best quality with the worst customer service, so I'm not prepared for that part of the process of having to work with them. But if it means that my book can be distributed wide, then I guess it's worth it.
Wait, we're gonna have to have many a conversation about this because I want to hear all about the distribution plans you have.
Okay.
uh,
Well,
yeah.
I'm down.
Amazing. Okay, let's jump into the second sprint. We've been chatting for a million years. But
We
that
love a
was really
yap. Yeah, chat's
so
really popping off. Like y'all are killing it.
yeah, seriously. Lots of discussion going on, which we love to see. Um,
Mhm.
Also, Alyssa, you can't go wide with the ebook if you're in KU, but the paperback you can.
Yeah,
Um,
paperback will go wide. Yeah, and then the ebook would just be Amazon and Kindle Unlimited.
yeah. Okay, cool. Good luck, everyone. See you in 25 minutes. All right. How was everyone's sprint?
I got another 400.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm actually almost done with this chapter. So that's very exciting. I almost wrote this full chapter today.
That is so exciting. I love that for you. I also got some words this time, like a good 300 or 400, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm fleshing out the scene. I wasn't really thinking that it was going to get longer, but I guess it is.
Isn't that just the way it goes? But like when you're doing the second draft, you don't realize it, but now you know so much more than you did when you probably wrote this chapter the first time. And
Yes.
so you're adding in all those little details that you know, and like you're better able to foreshadow the things that are coming later in the book because you've written that part of the book.
Exactly. Like, oh, I actually have specifics about the world building that I can work in here now.
Yes, it's so fun. Like there's so many scenes. Well, I say so many. There's like maybe 3 or 4 scenes that I've added in this draft, and they work so much better than the scenes that were there originally because they set up a lot of fun things that happen later on in the book. So, yeah, it's a fun process. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts about this process is just adding the new things that weren't in the part of the original plan.
No, me too. I agree. Like the extra scenes I've added have been the most exciting parts of draft 2 so far. And honestly, probably stronger written than the draft 1 material since, you grow as you draft a book. You're better equipped in draft 2.
Agreed.
Yeah. Looks like everyone had a productive sprint, 765,
That is
382.
amazing.
Yeah, 765 and more.
Doing more unintentional parkour. That's so cool.
That's amazing. I love that. All right. Well, I'm pretty beat, so we're gonna call it. Thank you so much, Cody, for joining. It was so fun having you on.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was
Of
great.
course. Everyone go check out his channel for sure. And I'm sure we'll be sprinting again in the future together.
I don't see why not. We had so much fun this time.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you guys all so much for joining. Hope it was productive. And yeah. Cool.
I feel that. Like your brain is just like, what are words?
My brain is so fresh. Like every time I finish streaming, I'm just like, I need to sleep for like 3 hours. Okay, thank you guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yes. Bye.